Okay. Um, hey, my name is Brian. I go by Chief, and I'm here today with my fourth Xbox One Elite controller. It came in the mail today. I ordered it, let's see, Saturday, I think, and I got it from Best Buy online this time because they could get it here by Tuesday, which is today. Um, So this is my fourth. So to explain that, January last year, or it was the last year when they came out. The year they came out, I got my first controller the March following the release of the controller. So the controller came out in like November 2015 or 2016, and I got my controller that next March. Immediately, I found that it had a very loose thumbstick within about 2 or 3 weeks. So I took it back, got another one. Same thing happened. 2 or 3 weeks later, the thumbstick was really loose. So took it back, got another one, and sure enough, within 60 days, another loose thumbstick. So I gave up. Said I was never going to get an Elite controller again. Well, started playing Rocket League, trying to get a lot better at it, or I am getting a lot better at it, and I want a little more flexibility that the Elite controller gives me. So I decided I'll give this one last chance. They've got to fix these by now. I saw videos all over YouTube. So I get my controller in today, and this is it. And just to show you that this is new, shipped to me, and order date of 4/15. I got the order number covered up, but got it from Best Buy. So let's take a look. There's nothing wrong with the thumbsticks, but when I press this thumbstick, so the first thing I did is open it up, right? And the first thing you do when you grab a new controller is you pull the triggers. So this trigger, listen. All you hear is a tapping, slight tapping sound when it's fully depressed. So this is with the trigger stop in. Okay, now listen to this one. Okay. So, I've basically given up on trying to take these back and get them and take them back and get them. At this point, it's $150 down the drain, I figure. So, I'm going to try to fix this. And what this video is, so there's this whole tamper thing where if you take this label off of the back of it, Microsoft says it's out of warranty. Well, I've found out that according to law, they can't enforce that. The warranty is valid unless the manufacturer can prove that the modifications or repairs made to the device were the cause of whatever is being reported under warranty. So say later on, a couple months down the road, the A button fails to work, and I send it in because it has a defective A button. If this label right here is messed up, and it's because I did some work on the trigger, if they can't prove that the work on the trigger was the cause of this A button malfunctioning, then they would still have to cover it under their manufacturer warranty. Okay, so this video is just going to be video evidence of the work that I do to take a shot at fixing this. And I will see if I can get my camera in a solid place here. And so since that other one I decided was a loss, I've actually taken it apart and put it back together dozens of times. I do a lot of work with microengineering, so I have a lot of tools for this sort of thing. And I had a previous YouTube video when I cracked it open for the first time, and that was I think 2 years ago. To say my technique has increased quite a bit since then, so get this snugged up here. I know you're looking at my hand. Apologize for that. Oh, now you're looking at nothing. My screw fell out of my. Tighten this down. Okay, you know what? I can do without it. Actually, I'm going to pause until I get this set up. Okay. I'm back. Okay, so what I think is causing the issue. Right here, there's a lip. So let me grab a right trigger just so you can see. There's this lip right here. And on the inside of this back plate, I'll get my guinea pig controller here. Is a little stopper. So this controls that little piece there. Controls the trigger actually from going all the way up, because this spring will actually, if you see this here, it'll come all the way up without that stop. That spring that's on there. So what I think is happening, this is what I'm going to attempt to fix, is either this piece right here has a little glue or something sticky on it from the factory, or maybe when they clipped it out of the mold. So either the thumb piece has something like that, or the stopper on the inside of the back plate here. So in order to fix this, unfortunately, it means we have to take the back plate off, which means we have to remove this label. So there's a screw here, 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 and then one here and one here that we'll have to take off in order to fix this. And we may also remove the screws for the trigger stops, which I'm really hesitant to do because these are pretty fragile. As I found on my other controller, the actual mold for these pieces was cracked from the factory, and the first time I took it apart, that piece wouldn't withhold the torque of screwing the PCB that does the controls for the triggers, or the back triggers back in. And now on my other controller, these back two stick. So I'm really dubious about this. I'm trying to find a way to get in there without it, but it's just such a small gap that I really don't see any other way around this. So again, this is why we're doing this video. So I'm going to start by just getting this label off here. And there are better ways of doing this, but this one has worked for me. I found just roll it a little bit, and the glue is going to make it roll once I take it off. And I want to put it back on, but I'll have a limited amount of time to do that while the glue still works. So I'll either have to get new glue if it won't go back on, or something. But either way, Microsoft may be able to tell I took off that label, so won't matter. Okay. So there's that. I'm going to take off. This thumb piece is just, there's a clip here, 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 and here. And they're kind of like lip clips, I call them. Basically, you just pull this piece straight away. Get your fingernail in there, or ironically, the newer controllers are easier to pull away than the ones that have had a while for the plastic to kind of get set in there. So normally with the new ones you can do this with just your fingernails. Almost had it. Alright. Enough of that. I'm going to go with the thinner one. There we go. Okay, each one of these has a little bit of two-sided tape. When I pulled that away, you could see it. Move the camera over here so you can see what I'm doing a little bit better. Let's set that off to the side. Okay. I think this is either a T8 or T9, I can't remember. Yeah, T8. Okay, so I'm going to start here. Wish the light was a little better here. I'm a little bit limited because my phone's charging. Otherwise I move it closer to the light source that I have here. Okay, so there's one. When I work on these Elite controllers, I like to keep the top of the thing around and drop the pieces in there as I go, so I don't lose them. It's 3. These screws are incredibly... This is a magnetic driver, so if they were free it would just pull them out, but what you can't tell is it's pushing the front faceplate away as I unscrew this. Okay, there we go. I have that last one here. Okay, so after I get the screw out, it's the most critical part of taking apart an Elite controller because the front faceplate isn't so bad. It's the back faceplate though there's there's two PCBs in the Elite controller. There's the one that these bumpers sit on, and it goes straight down. You can see right there. So it just goes straight through right about here. There's another one that goes across about here, and it's screwed in on the backs of these. The screws are probably here and here. And there's a ribbon cable that attaches this back PCB to the front one, and that's what controls the inputs for your thing. You got to be really careful with that. The other thing I've found is that these magnetic pieces, what makes them go loose, is the undersides of the actual magnetic metal thing here. The base. It's just a pole, and they're dropped on, and I think that they're stuck on with some sort of glue or something from the factory, and once that glue goes, the controllers no longer have this tight response. They just have a lot of play. So as much as possible, I try to avoid turning the controller upside down when the faceplate isn't providing any pressure from the top. Now, what I want to do is get the faceplate over on the, so I'm going to pry it out on the bottom and push down so that it gets over the lip for the charger and the headphone jack. So we'll start from the bottom. Okay, and I'm just going to lift it. Now that I've got it separated here, you can see I'm just going to lift it about an inch or two up. Okay, so I've now lifted it, and you can see that there is this ribbon cable that I was referring to. Okay, so at this point I can start to take a look at the bumpers, and sure enough, there's our problem. So the left controller, you see how the left thumb, the rubber stopper there, doesn't go beyond the edge of the footprint of that ledge for the left trigger. The right one, however, has a little bit of free play there, and that is causing that to stick or catch as I depress the trigger. Just being very careful with this ribbon cable here. I want to take a look at the... Okay, so what I'm looking at is right here. There's nothing here. So I have confirmed that is the issue. Okay, what bounced out there? Yep, figured. The other tricky thing you got to look out for is this mode switch. So if it does fall out, which it's probably going to, this top guide, the top here, so this is the top, and it has a little guide rail, and when you look at it here, you're gonna fit the cross, right? It just drops in. There's no snap, no nothing. It's held down entirely by the force of the faceplate, so don't worry if it falls out, it's not broke. Okay, so I don't have to take off that PCB, which is nice. Now I just need to worry about how to fix this. There goes the mode switch again. I don't have an X-Acto knife on me, so I could trim it. See what it sounds like now. See that? The difference a millimeter can make. So I'm going to leave it at that for now. I haven't even actually hooked this thing up to a Xbox yet, so I haven't tested it beyond that initial trigger pull. And I want to make sure that I don't get any more invasive with this controller before I have that opportunity, just so I know that there's nothing else wrong with it. Okay, everything sounds good now. So we're going to put this thing, button this back up, put the label back on it, put the mode switch back in, and fire it up. Okay, we got that in. So now we're just going in reverse order here. What'd I do with my faceplate? So the faceplate doesn't snap in or anything. It's held in entirely by, dang it, this envelope is entirely by screws on the back. So since we need to work from the back, you want to be careful. Make sure you're holding that faceplate in until you get at least one screw in. Now, I'm not going to start with the bottom right or left. I'm actually going to start with this middle screw here. Just so that front faceplate doesn't go anywhere. And you just want to give it like a quarter turn past what I call finger tight, like what you would be able to get with your finger. Okay, still not perfect, but at this point it's not sticking. I don't really care too much about the sound. I cared before, along with the sound, it's stuck. And I think when I was trying to put it back into place with my fingernail, I scraped away some of the sticky residue from the bottom that got left on the top. So yeah, it's already wore off. Cool. Alright, so a few more screws to put in here, and we will be back in action. Okay, good as new. Can't even tell that that sticker has come off. So for those of you wondering if you can take that sticker off, yes you can. Some people say to use steam. The only thing steam is going to do is break the chemical bonds of the glue that's on the back of the sticker. And if you do that, you will guaranteed have to put new glue on the back of that sticker to make it stick. And that will give this thing telltale wrinkles and air bubbles and stuff like that that will show that it's been tampered with before. So if you're doing this on your own, you want to try it the way that I did it first, which is just pull up a small corner of the sticker and then roll it back just a tad until you have a little more room to work with it, so you can get your thumb and your forefinger to pinch it, and then from there just peel the lips of